Today I wanted to take a second to talk about what happens to images after they've been captured at your wedding or session and kind of the process that they go through until that they actually get delivered to a client. I've been asked a lot of times by a lot of local photographers to kind of explain how this workflow works for me and the process that I use. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Okay, so when I say image workflow, what do I mean? Basically, it's all the steps in between the actual capture of the image until I send the email out to a client saying, hey, your gallery is ready, check it out. So first of all, we come home with a camera full of images with memory cards in here. First and foremost, very important, there's 2 card slots in here. So every time I capture an image, it is automatically written to this card and to this card. So we've got 2 of them in there. So one of these cards I just kind of take aside, and it doesn't really matter because it's just a backup. But the other card, when I get it home after a wedding, will come and I dump it to a very large hard drive. So this one happens to be 12 gigs, and this is just where all of the raw images that I've captured live. So when I come home, I take the hard drive and then dump it onto here. Once the images live on here, I go through and I do a quick cull through, go through and pick out which images I might want to use or just have a second look at or possibly even deliver to clients. Once I've gone through and done one quick pick on these, done just quick little stars on the ones that I think I might want to look at again, make a second copy of that on another hard drive that's identical to this. So now I have 2 copies. So remember, we had the 2 memory cards. Now I have 2 hard drives. That's 4 copies at this point. And then once I have these picks done, it's backed up. I take just the images that I had selected on that first run through, and I make a second or a additional copy of those to a very fast SSD drive. So what an SSD drive is basically honestly, it's kind of the same as a memory card. There's no moving pieces. It basically is the same thing that would be in your phone. It's that kind of hard drive. So this is a 500 gig hard drive, and this is kind of the middle step. I call this the working drive, and this is where all of the actual edits happen. So I have the raw images backed up on the original giant drive, and now I have 2 copies of that, the giant original drive. We have 2 copies of. And now we have 1 additional copy on here, and we have the memory cards. So right now that is 5 copies. We no longer need the memory cards, so we can delete those. We still have 3 copies of the images that we've captured. The 2 big drives, and now this little working drive. Then on this drive, I'll run through, I'll do a couple more culls, pick out the images that I'm going to finally edit and deliver to the gallery or to the clients. And then I'll edit and deliver, or I'll edit on this drive. And then once I'm ready to deliver, I will export JPEGs to another drive. And this one's kind of optional, kind of extra. You could just export these to your computer and then delete them, but since I've already done it, I might as well just save these. And a lot of times I'll pull from this drive for advertising or social media, that kind of stuff. But it's just a nice place to pull any final JPEGs. And then I always export full-sized images, which I deliver to my clients, or I also export web-sized images, and that's what I would use for social media or any kind of advertising stuff. But this is kind of an optional drive. Like I said, you could just export this to your hard drive and then delete it as your hard drive gets full, but I like to keep my computer as empty as possible because it runs better, it runs faster at that point. Okay, so that's the JPEG drives. These are then uploaded to the cloud and then delivered to clients from there. So that's actually a additional copy. But anyways, so let's move back to this little SSD working drive. So all of the images are done. They've been exported to that JPEG drive and uploaded to the cloud, delivered to clients. I still have my final raw images on this. And this isn't big enough to house anything other than what I'm working on currently. So once I have all of the edits done, I will then transfer my final images over to another hard drive, and that is this hard drive. And this is my final DNGs. My master Lightroom catalog points to this. So if I want to pull from multiple weddings at a time or multiple sessions at a time, this is the drive that has all of the final images housed on. In the future, I probably will have this built into my desktop. So it'll just be an additional drive in there, so I just always have access to it. It's always plugged in. But for now, I just let it live here and it works fine. But because I am paranoid, and because 2 is 1 and 1 is none, I also make a second copy of everything that is on this drive. So, and I do this all manually. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but you just kind of get used to it. Once a month you can back everything up, or you can do it every session like I do. So anyways, these are going to be identical mirrored drives. So that's kind of the overall workflow. Let's hit it again just really quick. We go out, we create the images, they're saved to 2 memory cards. We take one of those memory cards, the images from that, and we back that up onto a very large external drive. We then do a quick selection on this external drive, make a second copy of this so that all of, or both drives has the selects made on that. And then we take the images that we've selected and we put them on a very small SSD. We do the rest of our picks from here and then edits on this, export to JPEGs. This is the JPEG file, or folder, hard drive, that's what this is. This is the JPEG hard drive. From here, I upload to the cloud and then deliver to clients. So the cloud is an additional storage option there. And then we're back to the raw files that we've captured on camera. Once we're done editing all of those, it then gets copied to 2 different external hard drives again. In 2022, I delivered almost 20,000 images to clients. That's an insane number of images, but you know, that's the amount of work that we produced. So it's really important to have a rock solid backup process and storage system so that, you know, those images last forever, ever, ever. But as I always, make sure that you print everything, and yeah, hope this has been helpful for you, and that you are able to create a workflow that works for you.